Hey guys, Rich here, this is Brick Scene. Look, today I'm quite excited about what I'm going to be reviewing because it was only a couple of weeks prior to it being announced. I was thinking, look, I don't have one of these in my collection. And what do you know? They go ahead and announce one. It's set number 75288. It's the AT-AT. Hey, so if you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing with the button below. It helps the channel, and of course we really appreciate it. So, as I was saying, set number 75288. It's the AT-AT. 1,267 pieces. You get 6 minifigs. You get a couple of extra small little builds that go with it, and of course the AT-AT. The cost is $159.99 US dollars, $139.99 Great British pounds, and of course down here in New Zealand it's around 260, 270 New Zealand dollars depending on where you shop. So look, let's get straight into the review. What I'm going to do is take you through all the different models as per the way they get built in the instructions. So we'll start off with this mounted heavy blaster. It's on a sort of a weird little sort of tripod style stand there. Interesting use of parts, using those blasters as the stands for that tripod, but other than that it's a fairly standard looking build as far as the rest of the gun goes. Nice use of that, I call it a droid head towards the front there. I quite like the way that the shape of it, you know, using that new sort of candle piece, or those pieces they've been using for the candlesticks recently as well in the center there. Yeah, it's a nice little thing. I've seen better ones, but this one's fine. Alright, on to the speeder bike. This is an interesting one. It's all brick built. They're not using that big piece that they've been using for these speeder bikes in the past, that sort of four-wheel bike piece, or the ATV piece, or whatever you want to call it. So this is all brick built. It's quite simple, you know, as far as, you know, the overall sort of finished model, but, you know, I quite like it because it's brick built, you know. It's a nice looking little thing. Nice use of those new angle pieces, those new tile pieces at the front there. I think it's quite nice. It's quite nice, and this, as you'll see, fits into the back of the AT-AT. So we'll show you that a little later on as we get to that part of the review. And there's the back of that speeder bike there. It's a nice looking little model. Nice looking little model. I've got no problems with it at all. Very simple, but you know, it works. It works. So here we go with the final model of the AT-AT itself. Look, if we have a look at the overall shape and size of it, I don't know, compared to a previous version that I had, it looks a little bit taller. It's slightly more boxy actually. It's sort of a bit squarer. Those angles of those panels on the side of the main section in the center there look like they're a little bit more subtle, those angles, you know. So coming through to this rear section here, it's a little simpler in design than some of the previous versions as well, but I like it. I think it works, and as we'll see later, it opens up, so it has a purpose to it. There's a little sort of sideways build part in the center there. The only thing I don't like coming through here is obviously those exposed pins, the blue and the brown pins. There's a couple of new pieces which we'll come back to on the underside there as well. But look, again, just fewer gaps throughout the whole thing there. I'm much happier with this final model. Now if we have a look at these legs as well, it's you know, it's a fairly sort of similar design to previous ones. Different sort of greebling, if you like. One thing I do like is that connector at the bottom between the foot and the base of the leg, rather than it just being that single sort of Technic piece that holds onto those ball joint pin type things. You've actually got something there that clips on, and it's built out of, you know, 4 or 5 pieces. The feet are a bit wider as well, but you know, pretty much a similar sort of design to previous versions as far as the legs go. So coming through the front of the body there and into the neck and into the head, it's a slightly different design there. They've used these sort of Technic steering wheel looking pieces there. I think there's a little bit more structure going through there towards the head, and we'll come on to that in a second. I think the head on this thing is quite a bit heavier than previous versions, and we'll see why when I open it up. But I like the design there. I like the profile. I like what they, you know, the design they've come up for the weapons on the side there, and that curved section of the sort of the back end of the top of the head. You know, it looks good. It looks good. So if we're looking at the front of the head there, it looks like a face with eyes that are sort of squinting, looking off something in the distance. But look, I quite like the design there. There has been better front ends of the head as far as I'm concerned on previous models. I quite like the one from a couple of models back actually, the way they did that. There was a sort of a gap in there rather than that black line through the center. But hey, look, I'm happy with this, and again, we'll see why it's all built like this when I open it up. Okay, so you can just see in here that you've got you've actually got room to fit all 3 minifigs in here. So in order to get that, they've made the head slightly wider than what I've seen prior, but you can fit all 3 in there. Now I'm going to get all 3 in there. It's a bit of a squeeze, don't get me wrong, but a couple of printed panels up front for the 2 drivers, then a couple of printed panels on either side, and that rear seat for General Veers. So there's all 3 of them in there. As I say, it's a bit of a squeeze, but it is pretty cool that you can get all 3 in there. And the cockpit has had to be designed in such a way that it can accommodate all 3, because we've only ever been able to get 1 minifig in here at a time previously. So like I say, I think that's where the extra sort of strength in the neck has had to sort of come into play, and a bit of a redesign of that head, which is, you know, subsequently made it a bit heavier than we maybe have seen previously. So there's just a shot of them in there from the front. As you can see, it's quite a tight fit. Those helmets from the drivers are right up against the sides, but Veers has a pretty comfortable seat in there behind them. So just coming back to the neck on this thing for a second, there's actually one of those little 1x2 rubber pieces in there right at the base of the neck there, which just basically recenters the head every time you put it out to the side. I quite like that as a feature, you know, it just sort of helps, and it stops it from swaying around so much and sort of holds it in place. You can still, of course, move it and have it on either side there like that, but it's just that one at the base of the neck that swings it back into place, which is quite a neat little feature. So that brings me on to some of the play features. You've got a couple of those flick fire missiles, one on either side there, so if I just hit that there, that's going to shoot that off, and we've got the same on the other side there as well. Fairly simple, fairly same standard sort of thing that we've had in previous versions. Now of course the legs articulate. You've got this ratchet piece up in here and in here as well. I'm finding that it's a little bit flimsy like that. It's, you know, it's pretty easy to knock over, but yes, you've got movement there and you've got movement there, and you can pose it in all sorts of different ways. Now, like in previous versions, this AT-AT opens up on either side. What you do is you just lift this panel up here. So as you can see, it lifts up and goes right out of the way. But what I'll do is I'll go around and open up the other side, and we'll take a look inside. As you can see, there's a couple of seats in there, as well as a hook. That hook, I'm assuming, is to hold the mounted cannon. That's the only thing I found that sort of fits on it. And if I turn it around the other side, we've just got 3 seats in there. Now if we come back around to the back end of it, this opens up as well. So you just lift this piece up and this piece down, and inside there you can put your little speeder bike. So that just slides in there and goes in there, and that all closes up. As you can see, it is a little bit flimsy there on its feet, but anyway, that's how that works. Nice and easy. Now another key moment in The Empire Strikes Back is when Luke fires up that line in order to get up and throw that thermal detonator into the AT-AT to bring it down. This is simulated here with this line that sort of comes down from underneath the AT-AT with that blaster sort of type piece on it here, and you just winch it back up, or winch it down and up using this little lever in here. I find it to be pretty tight, but yeah, just it goes down and up there. Fairly simple sort of mechanism. So there's Luke hanging onto that line underneath the AT-AT there, and you can just bring him up, and there's that hatch there that you just flick down that simulates the hatch to throw the thermal detonator in there. But again, while we're here, just pointing out those blue and brown Technic pins and axles sitting there. Look, it's nothing too major, but I feel that they probably could have been hidden away fairly easily, and it may be something that I look at doing to this one later on. Alright, let's get on to the minifigs. So we'll start with the Snowtrooper. You get 2 of these. Look, fairly standard Snowtrooper. A lot of nice printing on there. I like the helmet. Those dark tan hands as well. I like it. I think it looks really, really good. And if we turn them around there, we can see the printing on the back as well. Look, nice level of printing. We don't get any of those little cloth skirts or anything that we've had in the past, or any little backpacks or anything like that, but I'm happy with this. So just bringing them back around again there with the helmet off, you can see that face. Just a single-sided print on this one. You do actually get a different face for the second one. And there you go, there's that second face. Note as well the standard medium blaster. Next up is the AT-AT driver. Look, I'm loving the colouring of the AT-AT driver now. Gone is that white and grey. We've now got that sand blue with the light blue grey helmet. Nice level of detail as well. I'm liking this one. I really like it. They've mixed this up and they look a little bit different as well now. And there's the detailing on the back of that torso. Again, no dual-sided heads. We've just got single print on one side of each of the heads, but we've got different heads with these two different drivers. And there's the face of the second AT-AT driver there. Note they come with the short pistol style blasters. Now up next is one of my favourite characters of the whole Star Wars universe. We don't see much of him, but what we do see, we can gather this guy is a cool, calm and collected individual. It's General Veers. I'm really happy that we've got a General Veers here. I'm liking that helmet with that printing across the top of the visor there. The printing on the face there with the microphone coming down as well. Printing on the torso, of course. Nice looking printing. Really, really nice looking printing. And there you can see what we've got on the back as well. No printing on the legs, but I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that. No problems at all. And there's the second face that we get for General Veers on the back underneath that helmet there. Look, just a smirk if you like. Quite like it. He comes with the binoculars, no weapons, just those binoculars. And last but not least, we've got our hero Luke Skywalker. He comes with his blue lightsaber and a thermal detonator. Really nice printing on there. There's a lot going on with that printing on the torso, going down into the legs, those straps and the pocket designs on the legs there. Like I say, a lot going on. But look, a really, really cool minifig. And there's the printing on the back with the other side of his head, of course, as well, with that visor up. Looks, yeah, really, really nice Luke Skywalker minifig. I'm happy with that. I think all in all, there's a good selection of minifigs in this set. I really can't complain with what they've given us, especially that General Veers and those two new AT-AT drivers. I'm super stoked with those. So in conclusion, I think that we have got a great looking model here for the money. 260 New Zealand dollars, 160 US dollars, 140 pounds. I think we're getting, you know, a fairly good model. A good selection of minifigs, 6 minifigs. There's lots of space inside that hull to add more minifigs, more snowtroopers in there. The point of difference with this one, of course, is the fact that you can get the 3 minifigs in the head. Look, a couple of great play features. My only downsides is those flimsy legs. It just feels a little bit more flimsy than I remember other versions of this AT-AT being. And also those exposed pins. But again, you get that on pretty much any walker, any Star Wars walker. So I can't really complain about that. It's something that can be fixed, but I don't really care. It's not the end of the world for me. So overall, I am super happy. I'm happy that I've picked it up, and I'll definitely be keeping this one for my collection. Really, really happy. So look, thanks for checking this out. If you do like this sort of content, as I was saying before, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us out. Look, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.